Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is Wednesday, September the 3rd. It's 7 minutes past 9. And I thought that today there have enough information in the public space worthy of conversation. And these live videos have a way of bringing out the conversation. I'm going to be taking not so much calls as WhatsApps on 682-2110. You can WhatsApp me your comments because you're going to realize in this show I am going to be reading comments on my threads today and comments that I've gotten via WhatsApps from friends and foe alike. And I'm going to address this issue because it's a tinderbox and it needs to be addressed. I'm going to play 2 songs while we wait to build up our audience. And I want to dedicate both of these songs to the failure of the last administration that left this country in a place where calypsonians could sing these songs and not one person could challenge them for the veracity of their words. And I want you to listen to the first one because they are part of the song I'm going to highlight to you. While this is happening, while these songs are playing, I am going to share the video with the thousands of people that I have on WhatsApp. You could share it too. Let's get an audience together and let's take these things apart. Letting the cocaine pass.
hear voices from the ghetto, crying, Lord, Lord, crying, voices from the ghetto, Lord, Lord, voices from the ghetto. Help us, Father, mothers just hold them head up, ball, and them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher iron she daughter, son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for him, he and them black boys. No bail, that's the black man's choice. Like Shaho say, poverty is hell. She little girl child belly start to swell. Some say life is a cycle, but the draw she don't circle. Well, we got and no time to tell. Outside the siren keep howling, inside your belly we growling. Police raid very often, seems to measuring a coffin. One night in bed you're sleeping, next night is a wave that you're keeping. So you're praying to when you not to hear voices from the ghetto. Crying, voices from the ghetto. Voices from the ghetto. We are not a forgotten people. You know what? With dented pride, the soldier on. Revolutions, fake politicians born. And often their tragic story brings a journalist glory. No wonder they view the world scorn. From since the day they born, some call them rebels without a cause. These social victims of unjust laws, but yet they christen the heroes, renegades, desperados, forever knocking on heaven's doors. Hear me? Steel band music shatters the silence, harmony to conquer the violence. Big men run when cops approach, fighting for scraps with the cockroach. Young turfs, they're tough, protecting almost every young girl expecting. So your more heads to your color, there'll be another voice from the ghetto. Crying, Lord, crying, voices from the ghetto. Crying, what did you call mama? What did you call papa? Voices from the ghetto. Social amenities, Lord, heaven knows. Opportunities, well, them always close. Can't get what once in white collar. So if you can't stretch your dollar, it's later for you for a smoke your pipe. You're short of dead from pride. Life does rape dignity and crime. Till there's only bitterness left inside. Children through life keep on drifting. There's something they're smoking or sniffing. Maybe they're trying to forget
This life of misery
and regret. No one to come to their rescue except Capleton and Buju. So they boom boxes till they go. Drum out voices from the ghetto. Crying,
I say 2 songs. I want to play a piece of a third one. I want you to hear this one.
This song is dedicated to all my sons and daughters through the 4 corners of the earth.
See a little piece of this one. Spread the word, spread the word. Let them know we here. Tell them in the stands. They can watch cricket and Phillip same time.
My sons and my daughters, to you I plead. Watch, don't get no horrors, but please take heed. I know you don't want no sermon, but my admonition is to guard you against all the evils of life that create strife and destroy life. Walk cautiously, children, be alert, because you have an enemy that's roaming the earth. I know you're young and restless, but you don't have to be careless. You see, sober thinking leads on to righteousness, to happiness, spiritual bliss. That's why I tell you this. Watch out, my children. Watch out, my children. The harbor of Lucifer with a bag of white powder. And he don't want to go their place, but to bring shame and disgrace to the human race. Let me sing it again. Watch out, my children. Watch out, my children. The harbor of Lucifer with a bag of white powder. And he don't want to go their place, but to bring shame and disgrace to the human race. I
I'm going to approach this cautiously. And I'll start by saying this. PNM not government anymore. And they and the 1% can't come to terms with that. They don't have the power. They don't have control of the treasury and the armed forces. They don't have control of the government. They beat it up. They have a former government minister that put so much Botox in his face. If a mosquito bite him on the forehead, he will fall down dead from poison. Now I want to tell you this. On March 2nd, 2024, when I said I will use my voice, my big voice, to make Kamala Persad-Bissessar the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, she and I had not spoken. And I had not asked for a single thing in return. In fact, in every conversation she and I have had, all through the elections to today, the only things I ask for are ways and means to better protect her and her government. I'm saying that to the PNM knuckle-dragging trolls who think that I came into this for office, unlike fellas like Gary Griffith and the rest of them, who need public office to have an identity and a brand and a voice. I want you to know I posted one post today that crossed 200,000 views. CNC3 and TV6 can't boast that. News Source can't boast that. I'm very tempered these days, but I'm upset tonight. And I'll tell you why I'm upset tonight. Because Trinidadians has come to the dinner with the food half cooked. They don't think, they just talk. And some of them like wind up toys. They like them little, when you're small, that is Chinese thing they used to sell in the Chinese store. It's like a mouth. And you wind it up and 2 feet and a mouth. That's what they are. Marsha Walker. Rhoda Barrett. That's what they are, Susan Lower. 2 feet and a mouth. They don't have a brain. They cannot think. They cannot enunciate a clear idea. Let me tell you something. Anne-Marie Doolal is on this video tonight and she can tell you this. The Progressive Empowerment Party's manifesto that we launched with in January 18, 2017 was so powerful that every single political party that ever existed before and after plagiarized some of our policies. And I was happy to sit in Kamla Prasad Bisessa's house and give her all of our policies. She was 90% already there. Kamla 2.0 is the most powerful, driven, focused prime minister this country has ever had. And she's trying to work magic with what she has. 4 months in office, magic. She working magic. 4 months in office, 4 months in office. The murder rate is lower than 10 years ago. 4 months in office. Every year from 2015, the PNM, under the PNM, the murder rate climbed every single year. Under Kamla Prasad Bisessa, in 4 months, the murder rate, violent crime, is down to numbers lower than it was 10 years ago. And I am seeing PNM trolls begging for more murder. They don't want Kamla to win. You see, when the PNM win, everybody have to lose. And they're in that mindset. To them, murder is normal. To them, poverty and suffering is normal. To them, taking off your clothes in a minister office for an HTC house is normal. To them, being a contractor and sitting down with government ministers and working out what the government minister's share is normal. To them, being a gang leader means going and sit down in minister's office responsible for CPEP, URP, forestry, HTC, and negotiate contracts in their wife, their mother, their sister name and subcontract to the gangs. That's normal under the PNM. You know that meant 4 months? We ripped that plaster off. Everybody in this country who have been suffering in silence because Keith Rowley was a nasty man. Nasty. Keith Rowley is the nastiest human being I have ever encountered. The man stink. I think his 10 years was a blight. And if you disagree with me, it's because you like licks. You like kicking your face. You think insult is normal. It's why Randall Mitchell get away with stooping at black people in the face when they come to a government minister for help. When AI was launched, we went on ChatGPT and asked how to fix Trinidad and Tobago. 100% of the things that ChatGPT said were already parts of our manifesto. We've been working at this. We're not in this for kicks. We're not in this for girls. We're not in this for blue lights. We're not in this for pass. We're not in this to big up ourselves. We're not in this for numbers. We're in this to fix the country. Phillip will fix it meant that a politician was willing to step out and go out on a daily and nightly basis and work for people for free and fix things in any and every part of this country, and not just me, my entire team. We built a reputation that people would call us before they call the PNM. And I want to tell you, I want to say this to you today. The greatest pride in my political life is that I partnered with Kamala Persad-Bissessar. This is it for me. My job is, you see, we simpatico. What she wants for the country is what I want for the country. You don't need two leaders doing the same job. She's the leader. I could do better. I could do other things better. I could defend her. I could make sure she gets the job done. You see, all of us fighting to get the same prize, to get the same job, to get the same position. All it does is give the PNM and their 1% handlers control of the economy, the treasury, and the armed forces. But if you notice, you don't see me arguing nobody on social media. I post my posts. Unlike the PNM, unlike Suzette Lauer, unlike Rhoda Barrett, my pages, plural, are open to the world. Come and have your say. Talk your talk. I'm dealing with some of them tonight. Come and have your say and talk your talk. Don't be rude. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be nasty. I block you so fast. Now when you come back looking to see if you get likes and shares and comments on your post on my thread, because my thread does have so much numbers that somebody must agree with you. When you come back to see it, you can't find the page and you're asking your friend and you're calling and want to fill a page. No partner. You get blocked. I'll tell you why. This is grown up time. We had grown up time. The 1% that built empires on things that cannot be explained are being exposed in the public now. We're talking things people were afraid to talk. And I want to call out my brother Joey the Freitas, messaging me, Gordon Gonzalez, real good friends. I am going to disagree publicly with two of my very good friends tonight, Joey the Freitas and Gordon Gonzalez and others. Because I have been in this fight at risk to life, liberty, property. And I have been blocked. I have been victimized. My character has been assassinated. 11 lawsuits cost me millions of dollars. Talk about fight down, to fight for my country. So if you're going to step to me, we're going to step publicly. We're going to have these conversations. Because I want to tell you something. I live in a country where a judge committed drug traffickers to prison. And when he had wrapped up his business for the day and was leaving the court, the two drug traffickers passed him in the road. And it turned out our next magistrate overturned his committal. This is Trinidad and Tobago, who have more corn, feed more fowl. And all of we know that the game we play is how you could lock it down to prevent people from talking about it. That's what the defamation statute has been used for. You see, no other human being in the history of the world has ever had 11 defamation lawsuits at the same time. To have 11 defamation lawsuits at the same exact time is to drown you in legal proceedings, to pauperize and bankrupt you, to give you 4 legal matters happening simultaneously and you're trying to be present in 4 courts. If the Chief Justice cared about justice in this country, he would launch an investigation into what one law firm, acting on behalf of the 1%, used the courts and the justice system to try to do to Phillip Edward Alexander. That the moment Phillip Edward Alexander said, that's it, I'm done with politics, all of the cases wrapped up because they got what they wanted. They silenced me. And I gave up the party. And they never expected that I would. Listen, when you see the appeal court took a hold of that first matter and reduced that $750,000 judgment to $10,000, it told me that there was a chance, there was a hope. Don't give up. And I said to my team, we cannot win. We cannot win. We are the most powerful political party in this country after the UNC and the PNM. But we cannot win. That the numbers, you see, we didn't play this thing. We fought 5 elections. We're not like NTA and all of these fake parties that show up like Mother Teresa with plenty love and kisses 6 weeks before an election. We were on the ground every day, every night, every week. We had meetings every Saturday, public meetings, not in election season. Every single Saturday, we had meetings. And we were committed to this country. And I said to my team, we have 2 choices. We wrap it up and walk away, or we get Kamla Persad-Bissessar elected. Before you all answer, I want to let you all know, if you vote to wrap it up and go away, I, Phillip Edward Alexander, am joining with Kamla Persad-Bissessar. You see, I was listening to the things that Kamla 2.0 was saying, and I was saying, yes, finally. Yes, that's it. Yes, that's how you deal with it. So I know, when I woke up this morning, I know there was going to be pushback against the leader for standing with the United States of America, who are here to stop the drug trade that has wreaked havoc in this country for 45 years. A duly constituted commissioner of inquiry, sorry, I had the flu. I apologize, I have the flu. We got soaked offloading hampers for the back to school drive. A duly constituted commission of inquiry, Justice Garvin Scott, was commissioned in the early 80s to investigate what was Trinidad's drug trade in its infancy and the impact it was having. I want Darius Figueroa to find himself on this live video tonight. I'm calling everybody out, you know. Because, hear me, balls is not for show. If you have balls, step to it now. We're dealing with all of it. In the early 80s, Justice Garvin Scott, a commission of inquiry into the drug trade in Trinidad and Tobago, the impact it was having on the national economy. And what Justice Scott compiled, what became known as the Scott Drug Report, and any of you who have not yet read the Scott Drug Report, bootleg copies are available online. Go on Google Scott Drug Report, and remember, you are going to see our drug trade in its infancy, when McEnany Allstons and Caribbean was still owned by the white people, when Angostura was still owned by the white people. You're going to look and see a time in Trinidad and Tobago where our money and people who became millionaires and billionaires overnight, you will see in its infancy a report so damning, the government of the day was afraid to lay it in Parliament out of fear that it might have torn the country apart. That is Trinidad and Tobago's drug trade in its infancy 45 years ago. Between then and now, I want to ask Joey Freitas, Gordon Gonzalez, Darius Figueroa. I want to ask them publicly. And I know people are going to call them on their phone if they're not live here now with me tonight, and tell them, Philip, call up your name. I want you to tell me, because you see, I made no pretense with these people over the years. I go in their restaurants, I go in their businesses and sit down. There were times when I would open a door to certain bakeries and pastry shops. You would hear the song playing from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and tumbleweeds will roll by. Phillip had to be a madman. It had gotten to the point, and I say it publicly, Phillip to get invited to Syrian wedding and christening and thing. Because they made me persona non grata. Because of a handful who use their money well to finance others, but to squelch anybody who speak out. And in the 45 years of massive, we have had drug shipments originate in this country that get to other destinations. We found $600 million worth of cocaine on Monas Island. 7 little black and Indian boys from Kokorit in jail for life. And I said for years, if you package all of them and sell them, they're worth 1% of that $600 million. Who owned that $600 million worth of cocaine from Monas? Monas Island, Trinidad's major cocaine transshipment point. The drugs that come into Trinidad through places like Cedros and Blanchishes. Go fast boats like the one that you saw the Americans blow up. You're calling it a fishing vessel. The engines on the back of that boat cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today I sat in a funeral for Mikey Sabini. God rest his soul. Mikey Sabini's nephew is Joey Sabini, who owns Monster, the racing boat. Monster is the fastest boat in Trinidad and Tobago. And when I showed Joey that picture in the church with those 4 engines, he said, that's not a boat, that's a plane. The bottom of that boat, not touching water. That is just speed. They have nothing catching that. So telling me pull it over, run him down, all that nonsense. You see all that talk, when I see that video last night? I want to tell you something. Those go-fast boats have made a mockery of our Coast Guard and our law enforcement in this country. Everybody knows this. Nothing I say on a live video ever is news to anybody. My uncle, my father, brother, Michael Alexander was a pilot, not Dr. Michael Alexander. That's my second cousin. He's living in Miami. Michael Alexander was a pilot. Send me messages. He said we're making circles in the sky with the plane, telling the Coast Guard we're watching the drug trade going on down below, and nobody come in. Nobody come in. So tell me, tonight, what do you do when people live in Blanchishes tell you that they're sitting on their porch watching when the go-fast boat pull up to drop the coolers of drugs? That's for Trinidad consumption and up the island consumption. To drop those coolers of drugs, because in Trinidad and Tobago, it's easy to get drugs in and it's easy to get drugs out. A man in Great Britain opened a soft drink that was manufactured in Trinidad and drank it, and his heart burst in his chest. Pure cocaine. Accidentally got into the system. Anything that I say tonight, prove me wrong publicly. I am Senator Honorable Phillip Edward Alexander. I'm a government minister, but I am a political activist. Gary Griffith asks, when will I stop being an activist? I want Gary Griffith to hear me say this tonight. In the stupidity of the nonsense that exists between his 2 ears, I think his brain is there to keep his ears from fighting. Gary Griffith, I want you to understand this. I am not for sale. I have never sold my soul. And I will forever be an activist for my country. Unlike you, your stunting poser that need a government work so you can go and sweet talk people guilt run. I do this for country. I serve as a senator in the parliament and a minister for my prime minister. It is hers to give and hers to take away. What is mine to keep is my brand, my integrity, my reputation. And my reputation throughout this country is strong, brother. People believe that Philip Edward Alexander will fix it if he have to find or make a way. I spent the last 2 days dealing with National Geographic. They're trying to run a movie in this country. They're trying to pull things together. They don't know how to get it pulled together. They're sick with the flu and are trying to help them. National Geographic find me through Benny Hatem. I'm saying all of this to get you to understand this. Those fast boats that you see that he bombed, they say it's AI, so nobody dead. Choose your argument. 11 people dead. Oh, the Americans bad, Kamala bad, or is AI, nobody dead. You can't have both arguments. Let's assume for a moment that the United States of America that spent tens of millions of dollars sailing to the Caribbean Sea have nothing to do with the time but put out AI videos to provoke Maduro. I want to tell you something. If you don't know Trump, and I said this to you before, I said this in between his last administration and this one, Donald Trump might be an ass. I said worse things, but he's the ass this world needs now. And I want to say, I want to applaud him. Since coming to office, not one man has gotten pregnant since. Since Donald Trump has come to office, there are no more boys menstruating, needing tampons in boys' bathrooms. Since Donald Trump has come to office, no more men disguised as women have been beating up women for medals. And I want to applaud Donald Trump for that. The Donald Trump that shut down the World Health Organization that was going to come into parents' school and vaccinate the children. And if you try to stand up for your child, they will jail you. And if Trinidad police didn't jail you, the United Nations could have sent police to jail you, because that's the nonsense Keith Rowley signed. Selling you and your children into slavery. But have you marching like fools on Independence Day with Penny? Penny, who don't have enough energy. They're talking about Kamala. Penny don't have enough energy in the parliament. Everybody get 45 minutes to talk. Penny's talk for 20 minutes if she's lucky. Because she don't have energy. She don't have depth. I'm sorry. I thought she was going to be some kind of leader in the PNM. She don't have depth. She don't have understanding. The PNM dead. It's stone cold dead. And the only thing the 1% have is to throw down the UNC. But I want them to hear my loud voice tonight. Whether I am a senator and a minister or not, I am devoted to Kamala Persad-Bissessar as Prime Minister of this Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And I will fight with every ounce of my being and every breath in my body to protect and defend her. So if you have any doubt at all of where I stand, let's for the abundance of clarity, let me tell you, I serve Kamala Persad-Bissessar. I think she is the leader we always needed. I think she was misled between 2010 and 2015 because with all the nonsense that went on, it was still the highest performing government this country has ever had, performance-wise. She made Pandey look like a fool, Manning look like a fool, Eric look like a fool, Rowley has always been a fool. She delivered, but she was misled by people like Gary Griffith. And I want him to answer some things. I want him to answer why from the moment he got a toe in office, he shut down SORT, shut down the blimps, canceled the OPVs. Explain that. You spend your whole career saying that Manning was a fool, he buy OPVs because he wanted to protect a gas line. Nonsense. And I want to tell you, the reason I'm not using the words I want to use is because I'm a senator and a minister of government. So for now, I am tempered. But don't think for a minute the Philip Edward Alexander that will find you and deal with you in public has gone anywhere. I am still here. I stand for Trinidad and Tobago. There is only one leader with the capacity, the numbers, and the ability to lead Trinidad where we need to go, and that is Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Don't tell me about Indian, don't tell me about Hindu if you wasn't talking about African and Christian when the PNM was there. Because if you're talking Indian and Hindu, you're nasty, you're a racist, you belong nothing in this country, and you don't get to talk on my wall. I'll delete you immediately. See all that race talk? We had a black bald-head prime minister, we live with him. They tried to force a Chinese prime minister, and he was going to accept it. So don't give me no race talk. Don't let them tell you that they have anything that you're supposed to look at Kamala about her looks, about her age, and about her race. Don't be mad. You must judge people on their delivery. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar between 2010 and 2015 built and delivered 5,700 houses. The PNM in the next 10 years did 4,600 houses. So you tell me, and Kamala Prasad Bisesa gave it out through random draw, whereas the PNM gave out the houses that they built only to PNM people. Mash up Special Agricultural Society in St. Augustine to build voter padding house. But again, plenty of people just do live video now and thing because they want to be Phil, you know, they want to try and stand up in my shoes, they want to be able to talk the way I talk, but they don't have the length and the breadth and the depth that I have. And I want to say it to y'all again, challenge me on everything, attack me no problem, but back like alligator skin. It's long time I outside here, Chalky say we in tongue too long. You can't bother me, you just wake up dribbling and drooling, yampy in your eye, show up on the tread and think that you could hit me and slap and I somehow injured. Ow. Rhoda Barrett got $30,000 a month under the PNM. She got $3.6 million under the PNM to spew their propaganda nonsense. Did all of you, any of you, who clapping like trained seals for Rhoda Barrett nonsense, did you get any of that 3.6 million? Because it's you she's selling, you know. Without you clapping, then again, she no money. Now I have the documents. You see, I have the documents of former government ministers dealing with gang leaders and giving themselves and their wives contracts, and they didn't want this. They didn't want Phillip Edward Alexander to have access to what I have now. I have a line minister, the Honorable Dr. David Lee, and I follow his line and his length in this. And we're going to go to the Parliament, and we're going to deal with it, and then we're going to put it in the hands of the Director of Public Prosecutions. And we're going to make sure that former ministers of the People's National Movement go to jail. Because that's where they belong. To go to jail, I want to tell you, we have to make sure that they are prosecuted to the fullest extent the law allows. And all of you who lose your mind today because you see a boat blow up, I want to tell you this. Come back full circle. 45 years. Not one drug lord. Not one drug baron. Not one trafficker make a jail in Trinidad. 7 little black and Indian boys from John Street and Cocorite in jail. And we hang Dole Chedi and gang for murder in Barrackpore. They didn't get hanged for drugs. They get hanged for murder. Joey Ramaya, Dole Chedi, and the rest. Nankisun Budram. We hang them for murder. We wipe out a family. No drug trafficker. I want Joey and Gordon to come out publicly and tell me, in this country, where police officers have told me that the moment they get the information of where the raid going, the people they're going to raid getting the information too. Tell me how we fixing that now, tonight, stopping the drug trade, that bringing the 17,000 guns that put your family at risk. Who has to die? In the thousands, the tens of thousands of people that have died in this country with guns and bullets that came with cocaine packages in those go-fast boats. Who has to die for you to realize that you are fighting a war that you are losing? And all the goodness in my heart. Because I tell you, as somebody who strapped myself to the museum fence to stop Calder Heart from tearing down the Victoria Institute to create a parking lot for Napa. Ask Philip Franco and them. We strapped ourselves to the museum fence. All of the jokey activists. Like my partner from Point 14 with the 10 friends. All of the just come. Only know what we fight for this country. What do you do when you realize that the drug traffickers have swarmed our law enforcement and justice systems and drowned them? How do you stop? 150,000 50,000 people came to Trinidad and Tobago by boat. Nobody stopped them. No Coast Guard, no Marine branch, nobody. Nobody. How do you deal with a country whose borders are so porous? In 2018, when I launched, 2017, I launched the Progressive Empowerment Party, and Faris Al-Rawi tripped and responded. And he said, Phillip Alexander talking things that we already knew. We already know that the borders are always open. Stuart Young said it is impossible to secure a country's borders. Fitzgerald Hines had a meeting. Asked Stephen Rees, the first day that Fitzgerald Hines called a press conference, me and Stephen Rees talking to each other on the phone, listening to the press conference, and I tell Stephen Rees they will never allow Fitzgerald Hines to have another press conference again in life. They will not allow him to speak because he doesn't understand that the truth that he knows is not for public consumption. When he spoke about the hundreds of beaches and rivers in this country that they do not secure, that they have never secured, the 1% panicked because we understood then the roadmap to drug trafficking millions and billions laundered through state contracts that built empires in this country. When businesses were collapsing, others had so much cash, they could have buy up existing empires and not one dog bark. And you see that is why you're disingenuous. And that is why you can't step to me. And that is why I will lose friends and family fighting this fight for my country. Because I take every death personally. I take every failure personally. I said that I wanted my legacy to be that Trinidad will remember this, that we cut off our wrought iron and throw it in the sea, that we take the piece of land that we have under water tank and plant home garden and put up little gazebo because we don't need water tank again, water 24/7. These are the things we're working on. But Kamala Persad-Bissessar knew that the 56 million people in Venezuela were a threat to Trinidad and Tobago because of what was being said in Caracas about this country. And we needed somebody to protect us. What Keith Rowley did and Stuart Young, when they slapped America in their face, when they slapped Donald Trump in his face, was to cost Trinidad and Tobago the benefits of having the United States of America as a protector. Now, Professor Patrick Watson, who in his later years is looking for causes where he don't have to understand how it works. He just wants to be a bleeding heart liberal. He want to show up and bleed all over the issue and cry for all mommy good boys. But the same people in Trinidad and Tobago that would laugh at little black children who get murdered in the street and their blood running in the drain and say, look a good boy, look mommy good boy. Or they think that them Venezuelans, they are go gang members. You're fighting for them, the innocent, mommy good boys. 450 engine, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of boat of engine strapped to a skiff, packed with drugs. It's a Dalpuri, I asked the country. That's how drugs are packed, you know. You've seen it, we're sophisticated. What this singing Sandra say? Can't tell firecracker from gunshot. We grow up in it. We know what it is to live in a violent, murderous, drug-ridden society. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is trying to end it. We said we want to fix it. You want the gangs done? What funds the gangs? Drugs and corrupt politicians. They funded the gangs through CPEP, through URP, through forestry. Yes, there were innocent people who lost their job, who were just innocently cutting grass for the $120, living the sufferer life that the PNM give them to live. $3 trillion passed through this country. Morva, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots never see it. Never see it. Penny and Faris and Foster lied to you and tell you 10,000 people get fired in CPEP. And Dulal say 10,000 people could not have gotten fired because it's 336 gangs by 10 people. So at best, it's 3,360 people. But that's all the PNM have. Inflame passions, incite the people. I have seen Keith Rowley and the rest of them do this same dog and pony show before. But I want them to understand they have no Jamaat al-Muslimin They have no takeover, no attempted coup, no going in the parliament and talk foolishness with the speaker. Not on my watch. I want Gary Griffith to hear me. Gary Sabga Griffith, hear me, brother. We didn't come this far to only come this far. The ships got there to say the drug trade ends now. If you are stupid enough to pack your drugs in a go-fast boat and try to evade the United States Navy, you will go out in a blaze of glory. That message has permeated every part of Trinidad and Venezuelan societies. This morning, a friend of mine told me, Philip, we normally have 4 boats from Venezuela taking gas on a morning. We get 14 today. So we watch it. People have to be very careful now. Broad daylight, have your fish showing. Know that if we see you in the water in a skiff with 350 outboards built to fly, we are not thinking that you're in the fishing business, but you are built to evade law enforcement. And for some reason, the only things that happen that require you evading law enforcement between Venezuela and Trinidad is human trafficking, guns, and drugs. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, has applauded, killed them violently. You don't want to hear that, but I am sure your yard have dogs. I sure. To protect your family, I sure you have burglar proof. Now if you like my partner, Vishal Maharaj. Vishal gave me a story about he and his family. He have a wife and daughters. And 7 people was in his yard. And Vishal had a gun. And they're trying to break in his house. They're trying to tear open his raw tile and break down his door. And all Vishal have is a samurai sword that he pushing through the window and trying to keep them at bay, while his wife trying to get some version of the police to answer. Under the PNM, that was the terror. The next day, whole family move out. Vishal could have afforded to move. What about the tens of thousands that cannot? When she sing about voices from the ghetto, a big pusher eyeing your daughter, when she say it like that, what you get from that? What you get from that? A big pusher eyeing your daughter. You don't take away from that you already lost your child. This is a country where people kill people, marking territory. And somebody saying the Reaper drones. Heavener, do you think that I want to admit that the only way to stop the drug trade from wreaking economic havoc and murderous havoc on this country is to rely on the Americans to sink them in open water? When Stuart Young said to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that you cannot secure an island, my friends in the New York City Police Department sent me a video of the New York City Coast Guard, Manhattan Island, a boat that was coming to the shore. They have a magic line 3 miles out at sea, 3 miles out at sea. If by that 3-mile line you have not identified yourself and taken instructions, you open yourself to a life-ending event. They're not playing. You're not bringing, because we live in a time where people could bring not just drugs and guns, they could bring weapons of mass destruction, biohazards. They could do you a lot of wrong. We live in that time in this world. And Trinidad and Tobago is a tiny country with 1.4 million people. Venezuela has 4.5 million in the militia. And Diodas Caballo, whatever his name is, the justice minister, threatened this country for the PNM. You know, this is since the PNM loss, all of a sudden, Venezuela finding Trinidadians that involved in trying to overthrow Venezuela and planning to come Venezuela from Trinidad. You find all of a sudden, since the Conga line dancers, Siochang and Rowley lost, Maduro and boys threatening Trinidad. All that is for the PNM. All that is part of the 1%, the contract mafia, the narco-trafficking ring that uses Trinidad and Tobago. $600 million on Monas, $350 million to Norfolk, Virginia, $1 billion to the Philippines. Tell me, we make cocaine here? We grow cacao, whatever you call it. We process cocaine here. The volume of cocaine that had to be put in those soft drink cans was van loads. A security guard at the company had to open the gate. Somebody had to turn on the lights, open the doors, turn on the machinery, and pack the cocaine into the soft drinks. Tell me, if anything, because if you tell me tonight that you understand that due process in Trinidad and Tobago is not stopping the drug trade, and you understand that the drug trade is killing, murdering, destroying your business, that the majority of our foreign exchange that washed out of this country was P&M corruption, taking our money through foreign exchange to bank in foreign and to pay for drug lords to pay for their cocaine, because nobody buys cocaine or sells cocaine in Trinidad and Tobago dollars. So your business closed down because you couldn't get US. All of that is fruit of that poison tree. And I am saying to you again, because I said it today, and everybody want to come and bump their gums and talk stupidness. I am saying to you again, if due process right now is not working, and it is destroying our country, under the P&M, 670 murders and climbing. I tell them we have the lowest murder rate in 10 years. They tell me that's SOE. This is not an SOE that's bothering you. Only in cricket tonight. There are people watching this video. Thousands of them in cricket tonight. People on the avenue, people in Chaguanas. This SOE not stopping you from moving about. Don't say, tell me this is the SOE. There's no curfew here like Griffith and Rowley had and Stuart Young. This is an SOE that gives the police and law enforcement the ability to go after the gang leaders. And that's why that's why the murder rate is so low. Because we have the gang leaders locked up. And we have the gang leaders disconnected from their gangs. And we have disconnected the funding through CPEP and URP for the gang members. And that's why the murder rate is so low. Add to that, you have a real commissioner of police. You see, to the people in Westmoreland and Goodwood Park and Fairways and Gulfview and the other nice areas that could just bump the gums, that Punisher logo that he put on his shirt wasn't for you. That wasn't for you. That was to send a message. See how quiet he is? You see that commissioner of police? We've had commissioners of police that bump their gums day and night and fight people on social media. Okay? See this man? This is a very serious police commissioner. And he is backed up by Roger Alexander, who is quite possibly the most professional police officer, the most knowledgeable police officer this country has ever had. He is the Minister of Homeland Security. He's backed up by Wayne Sturge, the most successful criminal defense attorney in this country, who knows everything that the gangs know, to the point where the gangs put a bounty on Wayne Sturge. I'll take apart the P&M narrative for you tonight, you know. They're backed up by John Jeremy, who knows the P&M playbook by heart. And when John Jeremy talks, not a damn dog barks. And they're backed up by Devish Mirage, a skillful attorney, well known for that. And his job is to plug the loopholes. And that's what the Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, assembled, give a mission. The first week in office, appoint a commissioner. Let them know we ain't here for joke. The Coast Guard are working, macaroni and ketchup and all this stupid talk that we laugh at each other, gil. Everything is a joke. Everything is a joke first until your mother, or your father, your sister, your brother dead. Everything is a joke until they're in your house, raping your family, and you're talking about home invasion. Where do you think home invasion come from? Where the guns come from? 17,000 illegal weapons that rode into this country on salt water, that rode into this country to defend drugs. They send the drugs with a certain amount of guns and 2 clips of bullets to wage war on the shore with police if they intercepted. And I told Darius Figueroa, who wrote the book on drug trafficking in the Caribbean, I said, I engage you and quote you because you're the only person that know that approximates to my knowledge on this in Trinidad and Tobago. And I've been fighting it from the point of view that I'm watching people sit down in President House and clink glass and sit down in the front pew of the church. I used to tell you all that. Put in big movement when the basket passing to drop that money in the basket. Watching them organizing, wives forming themselves into, oh, we have to help the poor. But they cause the poverty. I want to tell you something. Those of you who think that Venezuela is a better place to live, go Venezuela. Those of you who miss the PNM, you got to take our Andrews for that feeling because they're not coming back. They've been destroyed. There's a reason Faris and Foster are as silent as they are right now. I will say no more. But the people who are speaking for the PNM are clueless and weak. This government under Kamla Prasad Bisesa is the most powerful and capable government this country has ever elected to office. I talk to people. I tell them, do you know that our Minister of Trade, Kama Maraj, is a member of the global entrepreneurial Hall of Fame? The man who built Sasha Cosmetics, that is now a global brand. That is her Minister of Trade. Kama don't need a work. As watch him sit in that Senate with us for hours and think to myself, this is patriotism. Kama don't need girls. He have all the girls. Sasha parties, all the girls there. Sasha don't need blue lights. So why Kama there? Because there are people in this country that wanted to fix this country before we left this earth, and we trust Kamla Prasad Bisesa and we sign on with her. And I'm telling you tonight, when I look at my Senate lineup, Ravi Ratiram, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, the first time he spoke, he said, a country cannot be independent until it is food self-sufficient. Because as long as other people control your food, you're not independent. You're marching for nonsense. And he's correct. And he's working, he and his team are working at getting farmers protected, protect their crops, ending predial larceny, providing water, bringing down the prices of chemicals. Because under the PNM, one man was allowed to have a monopoly. Like how under the PNM, one company was allowed a monopoly on all pharmaceutical drugs. And Ravi Ratiram, in this 5-year term, has as his mandate, feed the nation. Bring down the price of food. PNM wouldn't do it because their partners Haddad and Hadco and Sabga and Amco and Massey had controlled the import of food into this country under the PNM. Under Ravi Ratiram, taking guidelines from our esteemed political leader, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa, is going to empower every farmer, every market. NAMDEFCO is going to make sense. They came out and started handing out leases to the carrier workers that have been starved. All of it. The PNM was giving out the land, fostering wrongdoing, and putting land in people's name and calling them farmers for games. But telling you, I sit next to Leroy Batiste. Leroy he's in the sunset of his life. He's supposed to be sitting down with his children and his grandchildren, drinking Morby and watching TV and playing windball cricket. I'm watching people that have no material benefit. You think the salary bringing people there? When I work work out the hours that we put in the Senate and the ministry, I work in longer, harder hours than I've ever worked in my life before. But I love it. Because I have a chance to see all the things that I have fought for all these decades materialize because of Kamala Prasad Bisesa. And tonight, I tell you, all those who want to call it murder on the high seas, no. This is war. I watched the United States of America spend billions of dollars with Ronald Reagan's wife, Nancy Reagan, trying to pilot say no to drugs on the consumption side. They tried to be calm with it. They made it a disease. They tried to put people in rehab. I painted New Life Ministries with Clive Panton up in Mount St. Benedict. I used to go and give art classes. I wrong in this thing long. None of that work. Consumption side, not working. So then they tried to target the consumers and jail them. That not working. That not working. The only way to end this nefarious, murderous, country-destroying plague is with sure and certain violence that you will know. Do not come here with that. Do not. And if 11 people died on that Go Fast boat yesterday, stopped everybody else from loading their boat tonight, we win. Give yourselves a round of applause for voting into office a woman who has more balls than any prime minister this country has ever had. We win. If last night that bombing have the waterways between Trinidad and Venezuela calm tonight, we win. We didn't start the war. We've asked them to stop sending their drugs. We've telegraphed that we don't want the drugs. The Americans didn't come here in secret. They said they were coming here to end the drug trade. People talking as regime change. He don't like Maduro. He don't like Maduro. But if he wanted regime change, Maduro gave him enough provocation, violated enough sanctions with Keith Rowley and Stuart Chang. They could have invaded already. Is the oil, he want the oil? No, he don't want the oil. He said in his last administration they wanted the oil, they could have taken the oil. It is Donald Trump that turned off Chevron that was still operating in Venezuela under Joe Biden, that was partnering with Shell and Keith Rowley and Stuart Chang and all this foolish talk. So all I'm telling you is about oil. Venezuela have oil, but Guyana have oil. And you know what Exxon come to do? Our deep water, they know that our deep water is not a Hail Mary. They're going to spend billions of dollars to find the oil that they know going to bring trillions of dollars back in revenue. Because our deep water, that nobody else had the technology to pursue, Exxon knew that if they had a prime minister in this country that was dedicated to doing proper partnerships, they would come. The Americans are involved in Trinidad and Tobago now. And some anti-American people who want to go and march for Palestine and rip their clothes for Cuba, hear me. I can't fight for other people's battles, and I can't sweat for everybody else's fever. The only country in this world I care about right now is Trinidad and Tobago. I need this nation state fixed. A drowning man can't save nobody, and we drowning as Trinidad and Tobago. Stop crying for other people's problems. Stop. You can pay attention. You can send a donation. But if you're not blooming where you're planted, you're a hypocrite. If you're not fighting for Trinidad and Tobago, but you know everything about Ukraine and Zelensky, you're a blasted hypocrite. And I'm saying to Trinidad and Tobago tonight, Venezuela, Colombia, and Mexico have been fighting a war with this country forever by using it as a drug portal. That narcotics portal that had brought 17 to 20,000 illegal guns to this country, that had brought 150,000 illegal aliens, that gave us all of the human trafficking and prostitution that destroyed this country. All of that happened in 10 years under Keith Rowley. Maladministration. Madness. Let the rich get richer. Who dead, dead. And that what he said? And that's what he said. All all your cousin America going Starbucks tomorrow. Show off your glass on social media. You're using Facebook. You're Netflixing and chilling tonight. So tell me, go and live the Venezuela life. Go China. Go live China life. Go Russia. Go live Russia life. If you really want to live that. Because here you have the freedom to disagree with your prime minister vociferously. But trust me when I tell you this. In Singapore, if you land in Singapore with a joint, they'll hang you. There is zero drugs in Singapore. I remember Anthony Bourdain, that fellow who did the 1% video in Trinidad with the Syrian people. Remember him? I remember him when he was going to Singapore. He was on the plane, the filming. He said, we've crossed the line in the sea, and the stewardesses are passing bags around. And if you have pharmaceuticals in your possession that you are unsure if they are legal in Singapore, throw it in the bag. He said, and then when you land at the airport, there is a sign telling you, if you have illegal drugs on you, this is your last chance. We in Trinidad applauded El Salvador. And we talk about the leader. The crackdown, lock them down, jail them. We talk about Singapore with dreamy eyes. We want to live in a country, because another video, a guy, Japan, a guy did a video, said I'm in a mall, this is my iPad, this is my wallet, this is my phone. I'm going to the bathroom. And I'm leaving it here. Nobody will put God out their thoughts to interfere with it. That's the Trinidad we want to deliver. Where your children could play in the streets, your little girls could run around the corner, and we not worried about some Tren de Agua grabbing them and selling them into slavery in Venezuela. That's what we're fighting for. And if blowing up that boat ends it, because I'll end this tonight. The phone that I am filming this video on is about the same size as this one. I'm going to put it in relation to my mouth for you to see. Any of you that are against what Kamala did, without the due process don't work. You know it's not working. Running them down, arresting them, taking the drugs into property and making sure we rat-proof the cell and put them in jail and they stay there for life. Any of you have an alternative to blow them out of the water, tell me one that works. I will eat this whole phone live. I will eat it and swallow it whole. I am the strongest, longest serving activist in this country. I have stood for more human rights. I'm not like some of them fellas that will show up and fight for a cause and then disappear. I don't go nowhere. I bleed for people who I don't know, who will never be able to pay me back. I have fought for the orphans. I spent a lifetime fighting for the homeless. I got disability parking in this country. That all that is my doing. I've done these things. I have bona fides as an activist that has fought for people. So when I tell you that I know for certain that there is no alternative, if you tell them that we have warships that will blow you out of the water, if you try to bring drugs to Trinidad and Tobago and you still come, but if you climb up the mango tree, pick the mango and bite into the mango, you're going to be surprised it's mango juice. It ends now. And the 1% and the narco traffickers and the contract mafia panicking. And I have never been happier. It is time the people of this country enjoy the fruits of their country, including peaceful enjoyment of property. We have not had that for 45 years. If you have a solution other than us relying on the Americans to blow them out the water and kill them all violently, give me. If it's a workable one, we'll debate it live. I'll eat the phone live. I'm not joking. That's how much I know that at this point, yes, we're going to fix all of the things that are wrong in our justice system and our law enforcement, yes. But that can't happen tonight. And all of you saying, but oh God, only there 4 months now, how come I get my fuel? Oh God, only there 4 months now, how come I still not getting water? Oh God, only there 4 months now, I'm to my road. Like you was expecting. A la peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Poof, April 28th, everything fixed. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, we're battling with a PNM scourge, a cancer that controls some of the regional corporations like the David Martin Borough Corporation. They're trying to frustrate people so they're not picking up the bush. They're not sending the bush truck, and people messaging me. But it's only for a time again because a local government election come in. And if Kamala Prasad says I can lower violent crime to 2015 numbers in 4 months, brace. Brace, I'm telling you. And those of you who still intend to engage in wrongdoing, trust me now. Nobody gonna shed a tear for you. Find another way. Those of you who complaining jobs hard to get, yes, that's how they set the country up. But I know Kama Maraj went to the Americans and congressmen opened their doors for the man, and there is going to be massive employment generated in the country. But no, a la peanut butter and jelly sandwiches does not work. Abracadabra does not work. It takes time to turn the Titanic around. But we are doing it. And the Prime Minister showed you her willingness to include you in everything that she does. Unlike the stupid jackass we had as a Prime Minister before, she sent us to everybody, even the constituencies we did not win. I hear Penny and Amory talking about consultation. Or you consult anybody. Did you all consult anybody, Amory Brown? When the 2 reports were laid that PNM ministers were engaged in pedophilia, molesting and raping children held in state care, Amory Brown, Penny Beckles, did you raise your voice for that? When Keith Rowley said that there was a government minister that was molesting people, children in his office, Amory Brown, Penny Beckles, either you raised your voice for that? Either of you talked for those children? Or your heart bleeding for Venezuelans? Miss me with your nonsense. Trinidad and Tobago, I want to tell you something. With everything I have inside of me, and I tell you this, I fought for the right. The decades that I have been an activist in this country, social and political activist, the decades I have fought and defended people and this country, I earned the right to tell you this. I believe in this Prime Minister. I believe in this government. I stand with her. I believe that that was the correct course of action because there is nothing else that we could do. And we have to, when you go to the doctor and he tell you have gangrene in your toe, your 2 choices is this. We cut off your foot or you die. Pick one. That was us cutting off your foot. You don't want to die. The PNM and the Venezuelans were going to engage in nonsense. That Justice Minister and Maduro, you see the two of them? They were going to engage in nonsense and try and create strife. That done. We bring a bigger, badder bully. You don't like it? Tough. We are charged with a responsibility to protect this nation. This is the way forward. And yes, everything under the PNM was non-disclosure. Until Stuart Young could talk about how much money he paid to Venezuela and why for that dragon gas deal, he need to hush. He need to shut up. He was the biggest waste of time. Trying to take credit for the Exxon deal. Everybody who stop and talk to him in the street, he called a press conference and say, look, people like me. But he never once talked about Exxon. Only when Rudal Monilan and Kamala Prasad says, I made a deal with Exxon, Stuart Young come to say he was the one who started that. Start that, my red. Anyway. I want to tell you, if this was 4 months after April 28th under the PNM, you would be in strife. We would be in lockdown. We'd be in state of emergency with curfew because we ran into an election with two ministers of national security, Stuart Young and Fitzgerald, throw their hands up in the air. While Keith Rowley was drunk and whining in Tobago, they declared a state of emergency. And all these Marsha Walker, Susan Lauer, News source, quiet as church mice. So let me tell you, if you're not talking it when it's that side, don't talk it when it's this side, because then you're just a blasted hypocrite. And nobody has time for you. And you know how I know? When I come on your wall and I look, I check Gary Griffith's page. The reason he's called my name is because when he called my name, his page has got 30 and 40 likes and shares. It's got 100. He feel like a big boy. He feel longer in his pants. Because when he called my name, people pay attention. If I talk about something, 170,000 people pay attention. I don't have time to waste my time with these fools who call my name thinking they could step to me. Marsha Walker is a joke. Susan Lauer ran from this country, changed her name. Her name is Sharon Bale. She works for Adidas. I wonder if the Adidas people know how much of the time, she's talking about how much time I spend as a government minister, how much of Adidas time Sharon Bale, aka Susan Lauer, how much of their time you spend back talking Kamala. All of y'all is get vexed. When I start to talk, I tell you, I have a big voice. It destroyed Gary Griffith. It exposed him for the all hat and no cowboy he was. Don't attack my leader. Don't attack Kamala Persad. We're fixing the country. If you don't like something, raise it respectfully. We will address you. Yeah? That's where we are. I will check to see if I got any messages while we've been here. There's a guy, his name is Mac. I have him saved on WhatsApp as Mac. And every time water goes by Mac, Mac lives in a PNM constituency where the People's National Movement is a member of parliament. And every time water goes by Mac, Mac messages me with outrage that he don't have water. And I know for certain he not messaging the member of parliament. I know for certain he ain't know who is his member of parliament. But you know why he know he can message me? Because I'll answer him and I'll tell him we will see what we can do. We will fix it. You're living in a country with a government made up of people who care. When I told people about Devish Mirage, because they didn't know, this is a Minister of Justice that for over a decade, with his own money, fed all the homeless people in Port of Spain every single night. That when I told them that, people mouth drop open. They have nobody in the PNM that was giving out school bags to poor people in their own constituencies, much less in the UNC constituencies. But we give out over 20,000 school bags. That's what we did. And I gave out, personally, in Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. And the PNM that had people trying to pretend that Phillip Alexander not fair, the ones who ignored it, when they saw what their friends and their relatives' children got from a UNC government, when UNC wins, everybody wins, when they saw how well they were treated, bouncy castle, food, hampers, the hampers, some people have to send for help to carry hamper, faucet heavy. And they messaged me and they blowing up my phone and they apologizing. They said, Mr. Phillip, don't take it wrong, I didn't know. And I'm giving them Melissa number because we have a member in Gonzales with a heart for people in Gonzales and Belmont. And she know, because you see it in her face, the frustration, the politics has wrought in people's lives in those communities. But we're going to fix it. And I'm going to give them an opportunity. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here and fight. Unlike others like Griffith and them who had to fight, wanted 5 safe seats. I ain't asked for one. Not one. I ain't come here to bury myself in other people's party. I didn't come here to say that I'm entitled. I came here to serve. I don't need government office to serve. All of y'all know that. And I will continue to be an activist. So for the abundance, to cancel any doubt at all, know this. I will forever be an activist first. Anywhere people suffering, I will stand with them. I have a legacy and a reputation built on what my parents did, my brother, my sisters. We are a family that have served the people in this country. My Prime Minister says, serve the people. And I like that I am part of a government that does the exact same thing. So we will continue to focus on the issues. And no, I can't do a live video every night. I was in a funeral this morning. I'm going to a funeral tomorrow morning. As a government minister, the demands on my time are so much more, and I have to find time to do these things. And I don't know how Faris used to get all the time to go and get chin implant and work out in the gym and go in the spa and let the boys rub him down with oil. As a minister and a senator, I don't have time at all. And he was the attorney general. So when the boys was rubbing him down with oil, who was reading the Anyway. I think that's it. I think that's my full contribution. I think that's all that I had to say on this issue. And I know that the PNM and the 1% panicking, because they never lose this bad, this much, so often. And I want them to bite down on something hard, because we're not going anywhere. And we're going to fix this country. And I want to tell you all one more thing before I go. Right now, Carl Membert boasted that the PNM bankrupted the country. He boasted that. That's the fool that you had as a Minister of Finance. And we need to get to a budget. And between now and then, Dave Tanku, the Minister of Finance, and Kamala Prasad-Bissessa, and Kennedy Swaran Singh, and others, honorable all, are working magic daily. So this year, salary come late and something else didn't work out the way it's supposed to work out. They left it in a mess. Wait a month, 2 more months. When we get to our budget, when that happens, you will see why when UNC win, everybody win. Yeah? So I'm going to wrap it up there. Until tomorrow. Well, I used to close until tomorrow. Until next time. Every time there is an urgent national issue, I will come to you. And we will have the conversation. I continue to have my phone. People think my phone number is the government phone. My number is 682-2110. Don't call it as tell you. When you call, I say you're still at the senator's WhatsApp. Talking to me. After you hang up, again 5 other calls, I'll forget the first call. But if the senator's at WhatsApp, I know the relevant authority or minister to send it to, and we will action it. So don't take my number to call my phone. And there are people who call me Sunday night, 10 o'clock in the night, tell me they have no water, or the garbage man is passing. I tell you, they think my number is on phone. But I don't mind, because I'm here to serve the people. But I want to tell you tonight, if you are not on my WhatsApp broadcast, because the people who are on my WhatsApp broadcast get information ahead of everybody else in this country. If you're not on my WhatsApp broadcast, and you would like to be added to my WhatsApp broadcast, send me a WhatsApp to my number 682-2110 with your name. That is all that needs to be in the message. Don't say good night, Phillip, I love you, you have sexy lips, all of that. Don't say all those things. I mean, we know and we understand and appreciate it. But just send me a WhatsApp with your name and I'll add you. And you will get added to the best informed source of information in the country. Until then, those of you who have time to waste listening to Griffith, Marsha, Suzette, and News Source, I can't help you. The rest of us want a better country. And we're fixing it. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.